Warren Buffett says, be opportunistic when others are fearful and be fearful when others are opportunistic. If people feel small, they buy small. If they feel big, they buy big. And so I always want people to feel like a superhero. I want them to feel amazing. Stop trying to shove a house down their throat and start liberating them. Start getting them to choose freedom, resolution, peace. Like that's what they care about. I am in charge of selling every single customer I meet. 3 customers that you talk to, you sell one of them. The secret to that whole thing is stop trying to shove a house down their throat and start liberating them. Start getting them to choose freedom, resolution, peace. Like that's what they care about. And so when they come to me, I'm going to lead, protect, and serve them, and I'm going to lead them to the promised land of freedom. And it might be I'm not the one that actually benefits from the house sale, but I benefit because I can sleep at night knowing that I'm the one that actually sold them. So my number one goal in life, let me make this real clear. My number one goal in life, and this is the goal of a warrior. I want everyone to live by this new goal. And that's that I am in charge of selling every single customer I meet. You either sell them to buy from you sell them to wait, you sell them to go find more money somewhere and come back to you. You sell them on a used home is better. You sell them your competitor's home is better. But you are in charge of selling everyone. You should never, ever, ever be surprised again. You should always be the one that takes them to the end. Even if the end means buying from someone else. That should always be your goal. And if you do that, you will sell more than you've ever sold in your entire life. So again, waiting for the market shift. First thing you're going to say is, you agree, right? So you're going to agree with them in the sense of, yeah, you're going to say, yeah, I totally understand. Yep, I agree that that feeling safe. This is what I would say. I agree that feeling safe to buy is always based on the economy is always a good decision. Okay, so that's my first agree. Okay, my second agree would be, in addition to that, I also agree, and I'm curious if you agree, that buying is not just a general decision, but it's really more of an individual personal decision. Like, Mr. Customer, would you agree that where sometimes it's not good to buy for one person, it actually is the perfect time to buy for someone else based upon their individual financial situation? And the customer's going to say, yeah, I agree with that. Perfect. So then the lead that I'm going to say then is I'm going to say, well, why don't we do this then? Why don't we see if it makes sense and we can find a home for you today that you can justify personally buying a home today versus waiting. So we need to so I'm going to lead them to kind of get that perspective that this might not be right for everyone, but I'm trying to lead them to kind of change the frame that I need to make this about you and not about everyone else. And so let's see if we can find a home and a community and everything else that, again, makes sense for you to buy today compared to anyone else, okay? Now, the reason this is important, team, that you hear this is that, remember I said yesterday, we better find this information out in the beginning. If you find this out 10 minutes in to the conversation of the number one area of resistance and they tell you it's the economic climate or whatever it is, then now I've got the next hour to deframe this. I have the next hour to minimize this. But if you find this out at the end, I mean, you're kind of hosed. I mean, you're kind of, like the technical term is, it's going to be hard to recover. So please do not find that answer out at the end, because I can't do what I'm about to do right now. See, what I'm trying to do is, like, they told me 10 minutes in, hey, I'm curious, if we were to find the perfect home for you that improves your life in the following ways, and you said you haven't found it because of the following things, what's the number one resistance to hold you back from moving forward today? And that's when they say, well, I'm not sure it's the right economy. And you're like, got it. Well, I agree that buying in the right economy, it makes sense. Specifically, I also agree that the economic decision is not just a global decision, it's a personal decision as well. What I mean by that is that sometimes it's right for some people, but not right for others. Would you agree with that? Like, for example, this is a good one. Listen to this. Like, for example, would you agree? This would be anchoring to like a successful person. Like, would you agree? And have you ever heard that like Warren Buffett says, be opportunistic when others are fearful and be fearful when others are opportunistic? Hey, Mr. Customer, you ever heard that before? I'm like, yeah, I've heard that. I mean, Warren Buffett's a pretty smart guy, right? He's one of the smartest guys, richest guys in the world. And so what he would actually say is when everyone was buying during COVID, that was like the worst time to buy. And when people are a little settling right now, it's actually the best time to buy. So I'm just kind of curious, like, if you have to kind of decide today, Do you want to kind of be like Warren Buffett and buy today? Or do you want to be like the average and kind of wait till everyone else is buying, right? So now I'm anchoring them. Do you want to be like Buffett? Okay, which is kind of a cool one, okay? Because now how are they going to argue with that? This is exactly how I used to get people to tell me how much money they had, how much money they want to put down. It's always a hard question, right? Because we're always kind of intimidated on how can I ask someone, like, do you have $50,000 or $30,000 or whatever you have down, And it's like always kind of a weird question to ask to qualify them. And so I came up with this really cool frame, and here's my frame. Okay, so the frame is this. It's the coolest frame in the world. And this is, by the way, this is back several years ago when Donald Trump wasn't the president and kind of stuff. So just kind of bear with me on the analogy, and you can use a different one. But so I would say, hey, there's two schools of thought when it comes to buying a house. It's about like having the least amount of money down in a house and using your cash for other things. And that's kind of like the rich dad, poor dad philosophy, like how Donald Trump does it, and like all these like kind of billionaires and stuff. They're all about least amount of money out of pocket to buy a house. Or there's the other school of thought, which is like the most money down possible, like your home is a safety net, and like put your safety deposit and put as much cash you possibly can in your house. And so I'm curious, are you more of like kind of the rich dad philosophy of like use your cash for other things like the stock market and other investments and as little money down as possible? Or are you more like, no, our house is a safety vehicle and let's put as much down as possible? It's gonna make them feel good, right? It's gonna make them feel good if they don't have a lot of money down, is what I'm trying to do, right? So then they're gonna say, yeah, I'd like to be a rich person. I'd like to have as little money down as possible in my house. And so it kind of gave me a match pace lead in when they're like, yeah, I'd love to be like rich dad, poor dad, and Donald Trump and have as little money down in my house as possible. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, the minimum deposit in order to get into this house based on today's rates and so forth, is $20,000 or whatever it is, right? $30,000, $40,000. So I'm curious, how does that feel as far as the amount of money that you can part with today? And they're like, yeah, that feels good. So it was kind of like my easy way in of making people feel comfortable that they don't have any money. Okay, so that was my goal, right? So, because that's the whole goal. Again, write this down, guys. If people feel small, they buy small. If they feel big, they buy big. And so I always want people to feel like a superhero. I want them to feel amazing, all right? Okay, so this is like the greatest script ever that I wrote. All right, check this out. I'm super excited about this script. It's like, I'm telling you, this script alone, like so many clients are like, oh my gosh, I've made so much money off this one freaking script. Okay, so here's the script. So again, customer comes in, and they're like, I can't believe, like I'm gonna do the best act that I can. I can't believe how expensive your houses are. Your houses are like $85,000 more than they used to be, and the prices are so high, and it's like ridiculous. And okay, right? So hopefully that's like the best customer I can give you. So then what you're gonna do is you're going to agree with them. Whoa, that's not what most people are used to, is it? What most people are used to is talking down to them. Most people are used to, oh, it's not that bad. I mean, it's $80,000 more, but let me tell you all the benefits that we have for $80,000 more, and it's not that big of a deal. Most people argue with them, and that shuts it down. And again, now you're out of rapport. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna agree with them. And I'm gonna go, yeah, we're actually $80,000, you're right, we are $80,000 more than we used to be. And specifically, are you talking about inflation? See, I'm agreeing again. Are you talking about inflation? And they're like, yeah, inflation, it's horrible. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how inflation's not just affecting our homes, it's actually affecting everything. Like egg prices are up, airline flights are up, like cars are up, everything is more expensive. Would you agree? Yeah, everything is up, it's crazy. Now, I'm curious, so now I'm gonna lead them. So listen to my lead. My lead is, now, do you have the same problem with appreciation as you do inflation? What do you mean? Well, if you would have bought this house 2 years ago, you would have benefited from $80,000 in appreciation, but because you sat on the sidelines, you're now being punished by $80,000 in inflation. And the way I want you to see a house and the housing market is like one big choo-choo train with tracks that never end. It's like constantly moving forward. It's the craziest thing. And so every single day, the home is either appreciating or it's inflating. It all depends if you're watching the train go by or if you're on the train. So Mr. Customer, what we need to do today is see if we have a home that solves your problems and improves your life enough so that you can start benefiting from home appreciation and stop being punished by home inflation. Let's begin.